What's going on, everybody? Gfunkyboxing back. Prediction time for a big fight this weekend. Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson. The band is going to hit you right now. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I know it's a little bit earlier than usual, but don't really have a whole lot of free time these days. So I'm going live when I can, and I'm just here to talk some boxing with you guys, man. And this is a great matchup, I believe, in my opinion. Hit the like button, guys. Don't forget to do that if new to the channel. Subscribe. Got a few comments here. Look, guys, I want to say this real quickly. I'm not trying to ignore anybody's comments. What I want to do is just get into my breakdown of this fight, and then I'll open it up and read the comments, and then I'll open up the phone lines so anybody can call in and give their piece on this fight, man, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to talk boxing. All right, guys. So I want to give a shout out to all you guys that are in the chat right now, and let's talk some boxing, man. So look, we got in my opinion, we got a really good matchup here between two of the best super featherweights in the world right now, in my opinion. Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson. We have three belts on the line now. They just added the lineal Ring Magazine belt to the fight, so that's great. And I think that both of these guys deserve that. They're the two best, like I said, the two best super featherweights in my opinion, and they're gonna fight this Saturday. So hey, I like it. I'm in favor of it, man. So with that, we also got the WBC title, which Valdez has, and we also have the WBO uh, title with Shakur Stevenson. Now, Valdez is an orthodox fighter. He's 30-0, no draws, 23 wins by knockout, age 31, 5'5.5", with a 66-inch reach. As for Shakur Stevenson, he's 17-0, no losses, no draws, with 9 KOs. He's a little bit younger. He's 24 years old, 5'7", so he's got a few inches of height and a few inches here in reach at 68. And he is a southpaw. And you guys know I like to talk about the southpaw advantage. So, we're going to break this thing down, but I want to say a few things first, okay, before I get into my full on breakdown. This is a breakdown that's coming from a non-biased and non-emotional perspective, okay? There's no race baiting that's going to go on here in this prediction, any of that nonsense, okay? So for those of you that are looking for that, you're not going to get it here. Okay? You're just not going to get it here. But I also want to say this before I get into my thoughts in the breakdown. A lot of you guys out there that are subscribed to me, I told you guys that this fight would happen. I've been telling you guys this. Fighters are not scared to fight one another. Okay, now I know Shakur Stevenson has been saying that, and look, he's just playing mind games with Valdez. That's all he's doing, and that's fine. That's part of the game. You know, but the duck talk has got to stop, man. It has to stop. You can't go around calling professional fighters who fight for a living scared to fight another fighter. This doesn't make any sense. All right, so let me get into my thoughts here. Now, my thoughts on this fight. I really like this fight. And I think it's a very interesting matchup. I know there's a lot of people out there that think that it's going to be a one-sided affair, and I've already got a comment saying that Valdez is tailor-made for Shakur, and I don't think so. I don't think so, and I'll explain why. But Stevenson is showing great improvements, man. Especially in his last performance against Jamel Herring, I feel like that was a fantastic performance for the young guy. Um, I predicted him to win that fight, but I didn't predict him to win that way. I didn't expect him to, stand more in the pocket with Herring, but he did that and looked very good doing it. So credit to him. He's been, like I said, making a lot of improvements, a lot more than a lot of other younger fighters that a lot of people are high on. I think Shakur Stevenson is showing those improvements, and showing that he is going to live up to that potential more than a lot of other young fighters. Now, as for Valdez, he's a boxer puncher, and in my opinion, I don't think he gets enough credit for his boxing skills. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes here, okay? Valdez is not a brawler. I've been hearing that a lot from people. They think he's just a straight up brawler, power puncher. That's not what Oscar Valdez is. I'm sorry. He's just not, okay? Um, and the one thing I like about both of these guys also is they're both very competitive guys. And you could just tell by the way that they fight, by the way that they train, and by the way that they react after fights. Like I know there's a lot of people that like to make fun of Shakur Stevenson because he cried after he lost the gold medal match to Robesi Ramirez, but that doesn't bother me. It shows that he, again, all the hard work that he put in to get there, he got to the gold medal match and he came up short. And, yeah, that happens sometimes. I get it. I used to compete in high school and sports and things like that. So I get what goes into these things. Same thing with Valdez. Like, I don't see anybody making fun of Valdez when he cried after he knocked out Burchell. And that was the biggest win of his career. He proved a lot of people wrong. Like, I don't see a lot of people making fun of him for that. So we got to keep the same energy. I don't mind it. Again, it shows passion. It shows competitive nature. I'm all for that. I like that, man. I really do like that. So now I'm going to talk about the styles of both guys. I'll start with Shakur Stevenson first. Now, defensively, brilliant. Very good defensive fighter. He fights out of the Philly shell, which is we're going to break down the Philly shell a little bit when I get into my actual prediction. But the Philly shell is something that a lot of orthodox fighters have trouble with, and it's a thing that seems to be a mystery to a lot of fight fans. But we'll go ahead and break it down and what I think you can do and what I've seen fighters do to break through that shell. But he has great legs, very fast legs as well, and good reflexes. That's something that Terrence Crawford has talked about. I remember listening to him when Shakur fought Hoet, and he's talking about how fast Shakur's feet are and his reflexes. Very good lateral movement in the ring. Now, sometimes I feel like he can be a little too defensive, you know, and do a little bit too much movement. Like I felt that way in his last fight, not his last fight with Herring, but the fight before that with Nakatela. I feel like he was a little too defensive and moved a little bit too much when he didn't really have to. That's something that could come back to haunt him in a fight. Will it come back? Will it haunt him in this fight? We don't know, but it is something that could hurt him in the future. Because I do feel like he is very, very worried about getting hit. He doesn't like to get hit, and he's very concerned with getting hit. He doesn't like it, and that's how all defensive fighters are. But I feel like sometimes he can be a little too defensive and move a little bit too much. And plus, we did learn a lot about Shakur in that Herring fight, but the one thing that I still don't know is his chin. His chin is still untested at this point. Will he be able to take a good shot from Valdez, a guy who we know has legit power at this weight class? We don't know. We may find out Saturday night. Offensively, again, he's nothing he can't do. Very fast hands, throws good combinations, throws when he does throw his combinations, he mixes them up very well. And when he's throwing single punches, he doesn't really throw the same punch over and over again. Very crafty at what he does. Um, Great counter puncher. You make a mistake, he's going to make you pay. And his timing is very great. I noticed that a lot in the Herring fight because Herring's a guy that comes in sometimes with, he's side to side. And he was doing this a lot against Shakur, who was standing in front, going like this. Shakur was able to time that and bam, pop him with the right jab every now and then. So you can't be repetitive with a guy like Shakur who has great timing. You got to have to mix things up so that you got to keep him thinking as well. A couple of things, like I said, a little bit earlier, sometimes he doesn't throw enough punches, which could come back to hurt him. And, the power, I'm still questioning the power a little bit. Now, I know he busted up Herring, but I didn't really see Herring hurt or getting ready to take a knee or anything like that in that fight. And he was losing that fight, no doubt about it. And he was on his way to lose big time in that fight. But I still question the power of Shakur, I do. Now, Valdez, let's go over to Valdez. Valdez is something that I think a lot of people rule out is his defense. I've heard a lot of people say, he gets hit a lot. And look, every fighter gets hit, including Shakur Stevenson. Now he gets hit more than Shakur, obviously, because he opens up a lot more. So when you open up, you're gonna give your opponent opportunities to counter you and to punch in between. So, but I think that Valdez is really good at changing levels, getting low underneath shots, rolling with shots, parrying shots sometimes with that high guard. That guard's got to be a little bit more active in this fight, though. Um, Rolls with shots very well. He's good at catch and shoots. He can use his legs very well, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. He can create angles. He can, pivot very well in there, creating angles that way. He's a good counter puncher. We saw that against Burchelt, right? And again, I feel like people I have to give some credit to Ashley Knuckles here, a friend of mine who used to do shows with D Style, where he says knockouts give people amnesia. And he's 100% correct on that, because I think people look at that knockout and they forget about how it was set up. Valdez boxed very well in that fight. A lot of people are forgetting that for some reason. I don't know why. But some of the things that I don't like that he does on defense is when he is rolling with shots, sometimes he tends to put his hands down, and that's the big no-no against a fast guy like Shakur Stevenson. You want to keep those hands up, try to protect yourself as much as possible. Sometimes he'll stand there and admire his work, and I'm not a fan of that, because again, you could get caught by doing that. Offensively, he's fast too. I don't think he's as fast as Shakur, but I think he's got good fast hands and feet. Changes levels very well. Like I said, he gets very low, comes up with hooks, surprise you. That's something that Shakur is going to have to look out for. And his footwork against southpaws, and I'm going to show this a little bit later, is very, very good. He has a very good understanding of what to do. But another thing that I don't like about what Valdez does is sometimes I think he loads up a little bit too much when he starts to get comfortable. And he's going to have to change his attacks. He can't come in the same way, throwing the same punches. He's going to have to change up the way he comes in and attacks, because again, like I said, Shakur's a guy with great timing. You cannot be repetitive and do the same thing over and over again. He's going to catch on to it, and he's going to make you pay. Shakur's a great counterpuncher, man. Great boxer. So how can I know you guys are saying like, yeah, G-Funk, I hear what you're saying and all that good stuff, but how can he crack that shell? Well, Shakur fights in that, again, Philly shell, right? So I know it looks different here from from the camera view, but I'm in the southpaw position right now, and this is my left hand. He'll keep the left hand here, right, to protect, and then the lead hand is right here, protecting the body, and the shoulder is right there as well. Now, he's in a very bladed stance, Shakur Stevenson, when he fights, and when he's looking to make you miss, and even when he's attacking, he's very bladed. And what I mean by that is, I'll show you a picture real quick of what I mean with Shakur Stevenson. Here's a picture of him against Herring. Now you can see both guys are pretty bladed in their stances, but the difference is, look at Herring's upper body is a little bit more square to Stevenson, as where Stevenson is more sideways, again, because he's looking to use that lead shoulder as a defense to block. Right now we see here again, when Shakur attacks, look at how wide and bladed that stance. It almost looks like he's fencing, So a lot of guys stand in that stance, that fight out of the Philly shell. They want to be able to roll shots, come with counter punches, right? And I'm sure we've all seen that when you come right in straight up and attack a person in the Philly shell. This is what you're going to get. This is a great demonstration here from James Toney against John Ruiz. You see Ruiz here throws a jab, right? Toney catches it with the shoulder. Now Ruiz, again, most of the time when you see a guy throw a straight, they're going to a jab, they're going to come with that right hand right after. So look, Toney again using that lead shoulder to block and roll. And now look, literally wide open. Your opponent is literally wide open, and you're pretty much winding up. Look at Tony's position. He's pretty much winding up, and you know what's coming. Boom, a straight right hand, right? So that's pretty much the Philly shell in a nutshell, you know. Now, in my opinion, I feel like the best way to attack that defense and to land clean punches against that defense is to create an angle on that lead side. When you can get an angle on that lead side, especially against a southpaw, you can get openings. You can find openings underneath the elbow to the body with left hooks, over the top of the shoulder, right? And even straight right hands you can create from there. And the reason why I'm saying this, now I know that there's several other ways that you could defeat a southpaw, right? And I'm not saying that this is the end all be all to get that lead side angle, but in my opinion, it's the most effective against a southpaw, especially in that shell, right? And I'm gonna show you another example right here of what I mean. Now, this is Floyd Mayweather versus Zab Judah, right? When their fight. Now, I have some lines here. I hope you guys can see those lines. And I'm showing you again, Judah fighting right here out of the shell defense against Floyd. And look at his feet. Do you see how bladed his stance is? Where he almost got like heel to toe straight line, as where Mayweather here is in more of a conventional, traditional stance, right? With his toes kind of pointed out in a 45-degree, angle. And funny thing about this fight as well, Mayweather fought out of the high guard a majority of the time to attack that shell of Judah's. But here's an example I want to show you. Again, now Mayweather again, look at his feet are on the outside of Judah, right? And right there, Judah's got his high guard up as well. And now look, the first thing he uses to attack, straight right hand. Right now, Judah just gets out of the way of that, and then boom, Mayweather follows up with a left hook over the top. That's a punch that you can definitely land against a southpaw, and against a southpaw that's in the bladed stance and that's in that Philly shell. In my opinion, that's something that Valdez can do, and I'll show you examples of that here in a minute. Now, look, here's another great example of that. This is how Mayweather set up his attack the rest of the fight. Yeah, now I know he got dropped and they didn't call the knockdown, and I think it was round 2. He got hurt also in round 4, and then he started to do this from here on out for the rest of the fight. Right here again, high guard, feet, 45-degree angle. Judah in the shell, bladed stance, right? Next picture, we got the first thing Mayweather throws from that high guard, lead right hand to the body. Right? Judah ducks out of the way of it. And now look where Mayweather is. He's on that lead angle, right on that shoulder, lead side angle. And look at his feet compared to Judah's feet. He's literally on the side of him. Again, when you're bladed, you're standing pretty sideways. So he's able to get that angle. And now once he's got that angle, look at this. Bam! Left hook as soon as Judah gets up. And again, look at the feet. Pay attention to the feet. Mayweather's feet on the outside of that lead foot. Follows that up with a straight right hand. So, who better to look at to attack a shell defense than a guy who's pretty much, mastered it in Floyd Mayweather, right? Now I know there's other guys that have used it in the past, James Toney, Bernard Hopkins, go all the way back to George Benton, who was the architect of that. Shout out to Lion Killer, my man Lion Killer, who talks about him often. But I see you guys in the chat. I'm going to get to the comments and open up the phone line here as soon as I get done breaking this thing down. But here's what I want to show you, right? The reason why I'm showing you these angles and getting on that lead side is because, again, Shakur fights in that bladed stance, just like we seen with Zab Judah there. But look, his reflex, again, this is what I'm saying. His reflexes are so good. Look, right here, he throws a feint to the body of Herring. And look at how wide his legs are. Shakur, that is. And look, Herring threw a punch back and he just got out of the way of it. And then look, bounces back and he's still again bladed. Almost like fencing in a way. He almost looks like he's in fencing, except he doesn't just attack straight in and out all the time like in fencing. He can move laterally in the ring. Now, here's what I want to show you, some clips and of Valdez. Now, look, here's some things that I heard of people saying like he hasn't fought a southpaw in a lot of years, and that's correct. He has not fought a southpaw in many years. Now, when he did fight a southpaw, it was against a guy named Tamayo from Mexico, who was a southpaw. He was a journeyman, didn't have a great record, and he was brought in to, make Valdez look good. They were showcasing him, right? But he's a southpaw, very tough, veteran, crafty. The full fight is on YouTube. Just look it up, Valdez versus Tamayo. You can watch it. But what I want to show you is this. And the reason why I was showing you those clips of the angles, again, Valdez has an understanding of how to attack a southpaw on that lead side angle. Check this clip out.
Right up close before they're going to launch a punch.
Yeah, these days you don't see a lot of fighters with.
You see the way he attacked that southpaw? Let's watch it again.
Right up close before they're going to launch a punch.
Yeah, these days you don't see a lot of.
It was a lead, started off with the lead right hand, spun around, got on that angle, threw another lead right, and then a left hook to follow, and the left hook landed. Now that's his best punch, right? So I'm going to play it again, and I want you to listen to what Andre Ward is saying, okay? Because again, there's this predetermined notion about Valdez about how he's just a brawler, nothing but a brawler, right? Listen to what Andre Ward said.
Right up close before they're going to launch a punch.
Yeah, these days you don't see a lot of fighters with great feet. A lot of fighters got great hands, but great feet is a lost art. And to see Valdez changing angles and moving around is very refreshing to see from a young fighter.
Valdez using angles, moving around. You see what I'm saying, guys? He can box, and he has an understanding of how to attack a southpaw. See, a lot of guys would just look at BoxRec and say, okay, here's a southpaw he fought, and he's got a bad record. No one's ever heard of him, right? They don't actually watch the fight to see how he won that fight. They don't see that.
But to Max's point, yes, it was a trip, but it was also a punch. So it's a tough.
Again, you see that? Those are great angles that he's creating there off of lead right hands. Let's watch it again.
But to Max's point, yes, it was a trip, but it was also a punch. So it's a tough.
Here's another clip.
Waited to throw the punch until Tamayo's head was in exactly the right position.
Boom, lead right hand right on the money, pivots, gets on that lead side angle, throws another punch. So he knows what he's doing. Now, I see people in the chat, right? Oh, he can't box, blah, blah, blah. Like, you guys don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, okay? You just don't. And I know you guys are just sitting here trying to race bait, and that's not what's going to happen here, okay? But what obviously, I know that this guy is not as good as Shakur, and I'm not trying to say that he is. But what I'm saying is Valdez has an understanding of how to attack a southpaw, how to get himself in position to land clean punches. All right? That's what it is at the end of the day. And you guys can say all you want in the chat, but you guys just don't know shit about boxing. Maybe you could learn something. Take notes. Take notes here, guys. All right? So anyway, with that being said, here's my prediction, and then I'll open up the phone lines. And there was a press conference that just happened between these two. So after listening to that, I heard Shakur say, look, he isn't going to fight the same way that he fought against Herring, which I kind of anticipated, right? I don't think he's going to stand there in the pocket like he did with Herring with Valdez. Valdez is a serious threat with power, which is something that Herring doesn't really have. He doesn't have the kind of fight-changing power that with one punch the way Valdez can. So I didn't expect him to stand in the pocket with Valdez. And look, he doesn't have to. I'm not going to come out here and say, oh, he's running and he's scared. Blah, blah. I don't say fighters run. I don't say fighters are scared. I don't do that on this channel. He doesn't have to stand right there and try to trade. He says he's gonna move around the ring and pot shot Valdez from the outside. That's what I think his plan is gonna be. Um, Valdez, he's gonna have to cut the ring off. Anticipate where Shakur is gonna be moving, try to beat him there, even try to throw a punch there where he thinks he's gonna be going. Right? If he's gonna move to his left, which would be in favor of the right hand of Valdez, he's gonna have to throw the right hook to beat him there. Right? Same thing on the other side. You have to throw the left if he's gonna go to his right, Shakur. He's gonna have to do that. He's going to have to use a lot of good feints to get on the inside. And again, use that good footwork to get that lead side angle. Now, I think the problem is Shakur, I think, is just too fast. His feet are just too fast and his hands are too fast. He's going to be getting hit with shots on the way in, and Valdez is going to have to expect that. He's going to have to understand, like, I'm going to get hit with some shots, and I think he understands that. And but I think it's just going to be too difficult for him to try to trap Shakur and try to cut the ring off. And I think he's going to have some moments. I do think Valdez is going to have some moments in his fight, but I'm predicting a win here for Shakur Stevenson, like an 8-4, 7-5 type of affair. But again, Valdez is very dangerous, guys. He's very dangerous, and we don't know what's going to happen if he catches Shakur. Again, that's the one thing about the chin. We don't know how good his chin is, But that's what I'm predicting, guys. I think he's going to, utilize the ring, move around, set traps, and that's how he's going to win this fight. You know what I'm saying? So that's my prediction, guys. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Again, I wasn't trying to ignore you guys' comments. I had to get rid of some of these trolls in the chat. But I appreciate you guys sticking around. And I'm gonna go ahead and open up the phone lines for you guys to, if you want to call in. And if not, then I'll just, read the comments off. It is what it is. I know, like I said, I know it's a different time than what I'm used to going on. But this is really the only time that I have. I got about another 20 minutes or so. And then I gotta wrap this thing up. Still working on my Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano prediction, which is on the same night. And the good thing is that it's not on at the same time. So that's good. We don't have to worry about, going back and watching one or watching one over the other. We don't have to do that here this Saturday night, which is great. I love that. Okay, let's see. D-Lo here says, right, we aren't going to call him baby nuts if he chooses to box. Shout out to Ruben Guerrero. Right. Now, I mean, I don't do that. Are there going to be fans out there that do that? Of course they are. But I don't do that here. He's going to need to turn it up a bit more than he did with Conceição. He can do it. What a fight we have this weekend. Yeah, and he can do it. He's fought. I mean, look, again, he's fought. We've seen him fight much better. I mean, look, we can't rule out Valdez completely here because, again, I told you he's got real power. I showed you that he can box. He's shown resilience in the ring. He's been down. He's got up. He's fought with a broken jaw and beat the guy. So we can't just completely rule him out here in this fight. We can't. I am picking Shakur to win, but we can't just, expect him to lay down. He's not going to do that. Let's see here. Valdez has to land that one-hitter quitter. That's really his only chance to win. No, I don't think so. Man. I think he can, if he can get on the inside, right, and not allow Shakur to grapple him and clinch him, which he's really good at. He's going to have to try to find a way to bang away on the inside, get a free hand, dig to Shakur's body, right? Do it early and often to try to slow down those legs. That's what Chavez would do to guys like that would box like that. He's going to have to do the same. My man, EBA 101 Box says Rhythm Box is a good video on how Chavez cracked the Philly shell that you also mentioned here. Yeah, it's a good video. I think Mayweather also has talked how to beat it. Yeah, and I mean, that's why you look at a guy like who fought in it, who used that stance, and who who's fought against it and beat a guy who used it. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Team Batman, he says, very glad the fights won't clash. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Lance Meyer says Valdez is Olympian as well. He's undefeated as a professional. Yeah. I mean, I just think that people are just ruling him out too much, you know? Um, I don't see it that way. You go again, you guys got to look at the fights. Again, people just look at certain things and say, well, look at this or look at that. You know, you got to look at everything. Again, I know it's been a while since he's been in with a southpaw, but look at the way he fought that southpaw. You have to keep that in mind. Okay. D'Lo says, absolutely. We all get critiqued as we see fit, but should try to be as fair and rational as possible. Yeah. I mean, look, if Shakur goes out there, utilizes leg movement, pot shots from the outside for 12 rounds, and Valdez can't stop him from doing that, that's 100% on Valdez, right? He has to find a way to stop him from doing that, right? All the greats have had to do that at some point in their career against movers and boxers like Shakur Stevenson. So that's going to be 100% on him if he can't do it. Let's see, what a year for boxing. Yeah, it's boxing is on fire right now, man. Absolutely on fire. Let's see here. I think Valdez hunting for a KO would be his own detriment. He has skills enough to stay in the fight. KO hunting could really put him in a worse position. Yeah, and he said that in the virtual press conference as well, where he said, "Look, I don't look for knockouts. If they come, they come." He also said, "Hey, look, I can box as well." And I think people are forgetting that, you know? People are forgetting that shit, you know? We got another troll in the chat, and he's out of here. You guys get no play over here. All right. This is where we talk boxing. All right. We don't do that bullshit around here. Okay. Let's see. The objective should always be win first, entertain. Deal. I've been saying that for so long here. And people think that being entertained is a part of the scoring category. Like I I just laugh my ass off at people who say stupid shit like that, you know? Like, well, I want to be entertained, and he was boring, so he lost the fight, in my opinion. Like, show me where it says being entertaining is part of the scoring criteria. Like, that's not part of it. I'm sorry, it's just not. Okay, you might not like the way the fight is, but hey, fuck it. If there's space in the ring and the guy's going to use that space, you can't fault him for that. You just can't. It's there for a reason. You know, if they wanted these guys to just stand in each other's chest all night, they would make them fight in a cage, in a small cage or something, you know? But there's a reason why the ring is the size that it is. So miss me with that bullshit, man. I don't say fighters run or none of that shit, right? If a guy's going to use lateral movement, the challenger is going to have to get in there and stop him. Okay? I know a lot of guys don't like to hear that, but that's just the truth, okay? It's just the truth, man. And look, with Shakur, again, his feet so fast and so tricky, you know, especially being a southpaw. He's not going to be easy out for anybody, man. And I'm really, really glad that they decided to put the Ring Magazine title on the line here for these two because they deserve it, man. They deserve it. And I definitely think that these are the two best 130 pounders in the world. Uh, Valdez, I would probably pick him against any other 130 pounder right now. Um, to me, he's just that good. He's that good. Shakur is that good as well. I'll pick him against anybody else. And look, I'm picking him here to beat Oscar Valdez. So, yeah, I really think this is a fantastic matchup, and can't wait to see it, man. And the thing with boxing, I want to quote Larry Merchant. I don't really quote him that often, but he called it the theater of unexpected. And we just never know. You know, when I look at film, you know, I look and try to break things down as objectively as possible, as from a non-biased and non-emotional perspective. And we can all do our best. And like I said, I did my best to show pictures, show some clips, things like that to back up what I'm saying with some sort of proof, some sort of evidence of what I'm saying. And but again, we never know. One punch could end the night. Valdez might get clipped with something that he doesn't see, and it could hurt him, and he might not recover. Same thing with Shakur. His jab can be countered, and we've seen it be countered before in other fights. He's gonna have to be careful as well. He's gonna have to be careful as well. D'Lo says an 8x8 ring would not yield entertaining fights, in my opinion. Maybe initially, but would get old fast. Hell, some of us could be boxers with those. Right. It's just silly to me, man. It's silly to me. And I personally, I think it's sour grapes when it comes from a lot of fans when they complain about fighters using the ring. But what's more funny to me is when their favorite fighter decides to use the ring and use lateral movement, they get praised and, oh my God, this is great boxing. But when somebody does it to them, they fucking complain about it. Like, it's like, come on, dude. Like, I just don't get it. And see, Valdez is a puncher's chance. If he doesn't hurt Shakur, he can't compete. Well, I don't know how soon you or how long you've been watching, but I would say, go back and look at some of the clips that I showed of Valdez boxing very well, especially against a southpaw. He can box, man. He's not just a brawler, man. I think that's just a predetermined notion that people have. That's why fights happen in the ring, not in debates or on paper. Absolutely, man. Hey, what's going on, Mad Dog H? How you doing, man? Again, like I look, I know he had a bad performance against Conceição. It wasn't his best. You know, I can agree with that. Totally agree with that. But again, look at the way he fought Burchelt. He didn't stand toe to toe with Burchelt. He moved around the ring, set traps, and was able to counterpunch effectively from the outside against Burchelt. Hell, he even switched southpaw in that fight and knocked Burchelt down. He can box. He's an Olympian. He knows what he's doing in there. He's fought another southpaw. There's footage of him fighting Lomachenko. And again, I showed footage of him fighting a southpaw in his professional career and fighting very well. So we just got to do a little bit more research, guys. Okay. I mean, look, we all love boxing. Like, sit down and watch the fights. Don't just look at, like I said, don't just look at the guy's record that he fought. That was a southpaw. I'm like, oh, he's terrible. Look at the fight. Watch how Valdez beat him. Right? He didn't stand toe to toe with this guy. He boxed him. He boxed him. Bruce Gass in the house. What's up, man? HLD, what's going on? Let's see here. D'Lo says lateral movement, being able to get in and out are things of beauty and graceful to watch. It's just not about punching. I agree. I like boxers that can use good foot movement in the ring. I'm not against that at all. And again, look at these photos here. Like Shakur, has great footwork, man. And that's another advantage of that bladed stance is that you can get in and out quickly. Like, and then I show you this clip. Look right here. Throws a little feint to the body. I think he might have threw a jab there to Herring's body, and Herring tried to counter it with a punch of his own. But look at Shakur's reflexes are so good. Look, got right out of the way of it with the head movement, and then boom, he bounced right back into that stance, almost like fencing. That's beautiful. That's beautiful footwork, in my opinion. I don't have an issue with that. Let's see here. There isn't much about the actual art of boxing that isn't appealing to me at all. Yeah. I appreciate all styles of boxing. And I've been on record saying this. The only style that I don't like to watch is Vladimir Klitschko. I couldn't stand watching that guy fight. Just too much holding, too much just too much holding, too much leaning on the neck. And hey, Justin, look, tell me how. Don't just come in and say that. Tell me how he's going to do it, okay? Please. Let's see here. Valdez couldn't cut off the ring against Conceição, but he's going to cut off the ring against Shakur Stevenson. Valdez got, okay, you obviously didn't watch the full video. I'm picking Shakur Stevenson to win the fight. Don't get emotional, man. I understand you're trying to talk boxing, okay? Don't get emotional. But go back and watch it. I broke it down from an unbiased, unemotional perspective, okay? That's what I did here. All right. I'm not picking Valdez. Okay. And I even said he's going to have difficulty cutting off the ring. You obviously weren't here um, when I made my prediction, but go back and watch it. Mark Nash, my bro, is here. He says, yeah, that ring generalship, controlling the distance and the landscape of the ring. It's hard to clinch and science behind it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I say I don't have a problem with boxers, man. I don't. I'm not one of those fans. I'm just not. All right. See, look, these are silly comments here. You see this? Bro, he won that fight with a broken jaw. Are you going to rule that out? He went on and fought several rounds, okay? Several rounds. You're out of here now. You're out of here. This is where we talk boxing, okay? We don't do that fanboy. This is not a fanboy channel, okay? Let's see. Vlad had some beautiful performances, but the excessive holding does get hard to watch. It was very hard for his trainer to stomach at times. I know the Bragimov fight, fucking awful, man, awful. That's why I was so happy when Fury beat him back in the day, and I still have that video up on my channel, by the way. I could not stand Vladimir Klitschko. That was the one time that I just, that the one style that I don't like watching. You know what I'm saying? Bad Chad says last time Reynoso lost as a head trainer. Ooh. Oh, was Martinez against Chocolatito last month. Yeah. Let's see. It's all right. Canelo will get it right back next week. We ain't tripping. It's not a big deal, man. Not a big deal. You know? Like I said, that's not what we do here, guys. We talk boxing. And we don't bring emotions to the table. We don't bring race into it here. I don't do that shit, man. So I meant to say the art of clinching in a yeah. No, I got you, man. See, because I think the fight is far wider than you. You give Valdez 4 to 5 rounds. I give him 1 to 2, maybe. That's fine. Either way, he wins. It's not a big deal. But what you're doing is you're commenting on something that, again, you didn't hear the full video. All right. I showed clips of Valdez boxing using angles against a southpaw. Okay. If he can do that, he can have some success against Shakur. Go back and watch the video. All right. Let's see. So, do you enjoy Guillermo Regan now? I mean, no, that wasn't enjoyable. I feel like Rigo moved too much, but Rigo back in the day would have beat that ass. I can guarantee you that. Rigo just too old, you know? Let's see. Some guys like Blair Clapp don't even know how to clinch. Well, Harrison, another guy who doesn't know how to clinch, and when he gets hurt, he just puts up the high guard. Yeah, that's something that Valdez is he's gonna have to work on the inside when Shakur grabs him like that, right? When he gets in there, Shakur is gonna grab him. He's known for doing that. So he's gonna have to try to find a way to bang away at the body when he's on the inside right there. He has to, or he's not gonna have a chance here. If he just lets Shakur hold him, referee break, and then they're back to boxing, yeah, he's gonna have a long night. HLD says Valdez will not be able to hang with Shakur boxing wise. He's too athletic and skillful. He must kill the body, arms, chest, hips with full on pressure from round 1 and work the upper body. Yeah, I mean, you got to be selective though. Like, yeah, putting pressure, isn't just always about throwing punches. Again, if Shakur is going to be moving to his right, you got to anticipate that. Try to throw a punch, boom, right there, so he can run into it. Same if he's going to go to the other side, try to meet him there with, feints is how you get on the inside and you can pivot. He's going to have to execute all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? He has to. Let's see here. You mean to tell me a fighter did this to a fighter and fighter B and fighter C won't see him do? Yeah. Hey, Psycho, what's up, man? Thanks for being here, man. Let's see. Last time an unproven boxer beat an established champ. I don't know. It's a good question. Hey, what's up, man? Oh, I know, man. It's hard for me to find time, which is why I'm live right now. I usually don't go live around this time, but you know, it's the only time that I have. So, and it's just, I was working on the production of I was just gonna upload a video for this, but it's just faster this way, and I get too tired at night. Like I said, I just had a baby, man. My wife and I just had a baby, so you know, sleep is not the best around here. I got Shakur with the late stoppage, but all of your points make sense. You could be on the money with the 8-4. We have to see. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he's going to stop him, man. And look, if he does, that would be a major statement, man. That would be a major statement. Because again, we're talking about a guy in Valdez who has a lot of heart, toughness. He's been down, gotten up to win by knockout. He's fought with a broken jaw. He's a tough son of a bitch, man. Those are things we don't know about Shakur yet, but we're gonna find out. D Style, what's up, bro? My guy is here. Let's see here. You watched the whole video of doing that to Tamayo 2015. Tamayo, by the way, I swear, like I've already said that, but again, my point is he has an understanding of how to create angles against a southpaw. That's the point I was making. The point, and I'm also debunking the narrative that he can't box. That's what I'm doing. Like you're missing the point, bro. You're missing the point. Let's see. Valdez gonna outslick Shakur and pick him apart, win every round. Valdez? I thought you said Shakur. Maybe you made a mistake there. See, I don't see Shakur winning all 12 rounds. If you guys think Valdez can't win, but 1 or 2 rounds, if you're not familiar with Valdez, this is going to be a competitive fight. I agree, man. I agree with you, Mark. I really do, man. He said just beat you to the comment. This is going to, yeah, it's going to be more competitive, and he's in my opinion, he's better than Herring. Look, I like Herring. He's a friend of the network. We see him all the time on the Women Crushing It Wednesday show. Shout out to my big sis in the ring with Christine. Make sure you subscribe to her. Yeah, I think Valdez is just a much better fighter. And again, he has that understanding of how to create offensive angles against a southpaw, Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate that so much. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. Like I said, I don't really have a whole lot of time these days. So wanted to get this one out the way. Right now I'm working on my prediction for the Serrano Taylor fight, which is on the same night. So be on the lookout for that. I'll read a few comments here, and then I'll wrap this thing up. To see, the GOAT says Herring kept his balls and his heart at home that night. Valdez will bring it regardless. Herring was punked by Shakur from the. Ooh, man, that's a little harsh, man. He just got beat by the better guy. That's really all it was. Shakur is just too good for Herring. Shakur not getting in a dogfight, which is the only chance Valdez has, in your opinion. I disagree. I think he can win rounds boxing. Let's see here. Psycho says if Shakur tries to walk down Oscar like he did Herring, Oscar can counter. The counters are there. Herring didn't take those opportunities. Yeah, they're just different fighters. They're just different fighters, man. And again, Herring's a southpaw, so it's a different matchup. Think it will be competitive until the 11th round. Valdez KO. Too bad everyone will be watching the Serrano fight. No, it's going to be at separate times, man. They're not going to be on at the same time, Puro. So we'll be able to watch both. We'll be able to watch both. Yeah, Herring was just outskilled in that fight. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, guys. I appreciate you all for being here, joining me here for a little bit on my breakdown. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell so you know anytime that I drop a video or I go live. And yeah, that's it, man. Taking Shakur Stevenson here to win 8-4 or 7-5 type of fight here. And let me know again if you didn't see this live and you're catching it archive. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I will be live Saturday night after the fights, taking phone calls. We will talk about the fights and what happened, man. So with that said, I'm gonna close it out. This is G Funky Boxing, guys. Thank you so much for being here.